Peace. Rock out here back with another banger, back with another exclusive video. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you're returning, go ahead and that like button and that notification button so you get notified when we drop bangers like this one here today. Quick little message before we hop back out and get back to this paper, man. Listen, learn to recognize the signs. Learn to look for the signs. Learn to identify the blessing. Sometimes God sends the sign and we ignore it because it's not what we're looking for. Sometimes God sends the blessing and we don't accept it. We don't appreciate it and realize that we're inside the benediction. We're inside the moment that we're supposed to be in. I say that because today I had left the house. I had cooked my food and I was like, man, I had left the iron on, the stove top on. And then, when I was driving, I smoked burnt, like the stove top was on. And I was like, man, I hope I didn't leave it on. I was worried. And I prayed to God and I said, hey, if I did leave it on, protect the house. And God was like, you didn't leave it on. But then there was another side that was like, hey, you left it on, your house is going to burn down. And I got to work and it was just like, I want to go make sure. So I ate my food, did everything I need to do, and then went back to the house. But then when I on the way, God was like, nah, I told you that it wasn't on. So when you get there, don't doubt me again. So I got there, it wasn't on. I said, thank you, God, of course, appreciate it. I didn't want to doubt, but I just wanted to make sure. He's like, yeah, that's why you better safe than sorry. But on the way, getting back to work, a bee landed on my window. And then if you look at the definition, and then the bee, it was driving, and it went from the window to my knee, and I was driving. And if you look at the definition of what a bee, land on you, it's called, positive omen. Your resilience and your hard work is paying off. And bees are high frequency creatures, so if they touch you, that means you're high frequency as well. You guys are trapped. So I want to say, look for the signs. Sometimes it might be a number. Sometimes it might be an animal. Sometimes it might be an insect. Sometimes it might be a person. Sometimes it might be a hiccup. Sometimes it might be God actually speaking to you. So make sure we're paying attention. Make sure we're able to sit in silence. Make sure we're also able to really identify the things early on. Also, the second part of the message, I want to say, learn to let go. Because I was thinking the bee is going to drive all the way with me to the other side of town. And it was going to go start a new colony, but in reality, the bee was telling me, like, hey, let me go, I'm going to sting you. I was getting anxiety and stuff, like, what if this bee sting me? And usually your thoughts on your own, you thinking they're your thoughts, but in reality, that's something communicating with you. This bee is sitting on my lap, but in reality, the bee was telling me, hey, I'm going to sting you. I have a colony back. I have to get back to my colony. I was hoping you was going to stop. How do I get out? I'm going to sting you. Start walking on my leg. So that's when I just decided to pull over and let the bee out. My anxiety did disperse. So learn to let things go. Sometimes holding on to things, it causes more pain than good. Sometimes not being able to realize that, hey, it's time to let go, it can cause us to be in situations that we don't want to be in. So learn to let things go, because sometimes things come together for a moment and then they separate to become bigger and better things. That bee went to his colony, and hopefully I end up with my colony. Hopefully you guys end up in my colony. So I just want to get up here and drop a quick message and just motivate you guys to keep going, keep pushing, even during the down period. And today was not a good day for me, like in the sense of, I'm off, I'm unorganized, I'm not as sharp as I want to be at my home. My computer wasn't working, my homework wasn't working. I didn't really want to go to the gym, but I got up, I went to the gym. I hit the gym, I cooked my food, I gave my puppy her food, I dropped my daughter off at school, and it was a slow day today, and I just want to, keep pushing and keep going. So I just want to get up here and give you guys that, because sometimes you're not going to feel like doing what you got to do. Sometimes you're not going to be you're not going to be confident. You're going to be worried about what happens next. And we got to realize that sometimes that is the time we got to pray. That's the time we got to meditate and be able to listen to God, because in this world of so many distractions, in this world there's so many possibilities, anything can happen. That's what I always say, in God will, because we don't want to boast and say, hey, this is going to happen, because in reality, anything can happen. Things can go bad, things can go good. We just got to stay grateful for the good and the bad, because the bad is going to teach us lessons. The good is going to teach us to stay calm. So never get too high, never get too low. Always stay even keel, always stay humble, always have humility. I'm not saying you got to be humble in the sense of you don't believe in yourself, you don't have confidence. I'm saying realize that anything can happen to anybody. So never judge, never put anybody down. Always look at it like, what if it was me? What if it was me in that situation? How would I feel? Like, what would that be? What if that be was me and I was lost and somebody took me in and I had to go, but I want that person to hold me captive? What if I was meant to give somebody a word? What if I was meant to touch somebody and then I didn't touch somebody and they needed my energy and that was going to heal their soul? You never know what you're doing for somebody. You never know what you're not doing to somebody. You never know what you're holding somebody back for. So we have to pay attention. So I just want to get up here and drop that message. If you guys aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. You can shop the website. The link is in the bio. Make sure you guys follow them on social medias. Make sure you guys tap into the rap challenge. Go follow. Go check out the skits also on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter X as well. As always, wishing divine love, peace, and harmony on all. Peace.